Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. So we had some storms come through and blow down a bunch of trees, and they're blocking our little road over to our manure pile. So I'm gonna go out there and see if I can't pull that stuff back into the woods, cut it up a little bit, and possibly build some wildlife habitat with it. So hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for coming along. So this is what we're dealing with. This large tree that still has a root ball on it, you can see there. It fell in a windstorm the other night and it landed in this patch of, I don't know, multiple trees. And then it came over here and hit several more trees and pushed all of that stuff out here over our road. Okay, so here's a better view of kind of the mess that we've got. And you can see it pretty much completely blocks our little road that goes over to our manure and mulch pile. So what I think is if I pull that first tree out of there, off of those others, some of those might stand up, and what doesn't, I'll cut off and pull them into the woods as well. That'll build some wildlife habitat, which is great for small game, and if you take care of the small game, the rest of it benefits as well. So I brought the skid steer out because it's got the most pulling power in the smallest package. My tractor might have done this, but this tree's pretty large, and I'm sure if I can move it at all, it'll be with this skid steer. So there's the root ball, and I'm gonna wrap that with a chain now. Okay, so that got that pulled out of the way. Nice job, Bobcat T250. Not bad for retired farm equipment. And so now I'm gonna cut that up a little bit and then stack it up and then see what I need to do with those other probably 5 trees. Okay, now we've got that one pulled out and cut up a little bit. Here's more of the carnage. I don't think there's any saving these probably 3 trees. So I'm gonna just go ahead and cut them down as well and drag them back into the wood and add them to the rabbit habitat, or rabbitat as we call it. Okay, so there's that tangle of mess we were just at. And like I said, it's bent over out here, and a lot of that is from it. But now that we've got the large tree out of the way, I think I can cut those off, cut them up into a little bit smaller part, and then push them right into the woods. And like I said, that'll be a perfect rabbit habitat and other small game for this big open field that's here. We've seen red-tailed hawks hunting this area hard. So it's nice to have the little creatures have a spot to get out of the danger zone. Of course, then they won't have to worry about everything else. And here's the real culprit of probably why those trees had issues. This is a big grapevine, and it goes up in there, and those things weigh a ton. And they tie the tops of these trees together and weigh them down. And we've seen a lot. We go through here and cut those as many as we can every time we see them, but there are still thousands. So here's more of that grapevine, because we've pulled this back a bunch. But all this green, that tree was totally dead, but all the green on the top of it was actually from that vine. And you can see it covers all the way down to there. Okay, so the first one I'm going to cut is the biggest one, and it's also the most loaded. So when I cut that, it's going to want to kick back towards the camera. So might want to keep your hands up in front of your face. But what I'm going to do is stay way away from it and cut me an escape path before I start cutting the tree. That's the vine. Okay, I don't know if you can see that horizontal line, but that's another big vine, and that's how all these trees were tied in together at the tops. And honestly, it's what's killed a lot of them. Okay, I'm done cutting for today. But I thought some people might have noticed that I'm wearing chaps now, and I wasn't when I started. I've got this pair of chaps that doesn't fit very well, and I've got another pair that fits almost as bad. But I put them on halfway through that job. And the only reason I didn't wear them to start with, it's super hot out here, and honestly, like, heat exhaustion is more what I was worried about. But as you get tired, because it's so hot, I ended up redesigning my pants. And that's as close as you can come to cutting yourself without doing it. There's a little red mark on my leg, but it got me from down there all the way up to here. And so I thought at the same time, talking about, you know, realistically, I should have not been doing this without my chaps on, especially since I own them. The other thing was something that I always have with me when I'm out here running a chainsaw, is a little first aid kit. And the main important item to have in your first aid kit, if you're doing chainsaw work, in my opinion, is a tourniquet. And I've got one, thank God I didn't need it. But if you buy one of these, make sure you get some kind of instruction on how to use it. One of the things that, right off the bat, it comes already looped. You have to think about that. If you cut your own leg, you have to put the tourniquet above that injury, obviously. But can you reach your toes? And with your boot on, can you get that over there? So think about that. You may have to, and I'd recommend in this case, going ahead and pulling it out and slide it back through the buckle. So then with tightening that down and Velcroing it, okay, then you're going to tighten it up till the bleeding stops, and then place the tightener back in there, run it down, and if you can, write the time on the tourniquet. Now obviously this isn't tight enough because I'm not into hurting myself for no real reason, but I see a lot of people carrying tourniquets. It's kind of become the fad. But they're simple devices, but in a moment of panic, you may want to have gotten a little bit of training and done it once or twice. Again, you tighten that until the bleeding stops. That probably will cut off the pulse in their foot, and that's why you write down the time, is so that when they get to the emergency room and in the OR, they'll know how long that limb's been without blood. So anyway, great thing. I'll get off my soapbox now. like I said, and I also am not one to talk about it too much because I was just out here using that chainsaw for an hour without my chaps. So have your good first aid kit and invest in some chaps. These things were pretty cheap. I've had them a long time, but I don't use them as often as I should. But that might have changed after today. It's always good to get a warning that doesn't cost you anything. So it ate me up from there all the way to there. So I like these pants too. Oh well. Okay, I've got all of these branches and trees cut up, and now I'm going to do is just shove them into the woods and make some rabbit habitat. All right, that'll wrap this up. All that storm damage is pushed back into the woods, make some rabbit habitat. We've got our little gravel lane over to our mulch and manure pile, basically compost, open back up. So we're gonna call this one a wrap. Thanks a lot for watching. And you know, I honestly, thank God that I didn't end up injuring myself at all with that little incident there. But I think sometimes, you know, maybe God sends you a warning, and I'd say that's probably it. So I'll probably have chaps on from now on. Thanks a lot for watching. Learn from my mistake and stay safe. Have a great day.